Hi, and welcome to another Free.volous webisode. It's been a while since I said these words. I've missed you, my friends, but you know, as I said in the other videos, life is getting in the way and not in the best way possible, and I'm making the best of it whenever I can, but I don't have lots of free time to record at the moment, so it's whenever it's possible and not at a frequent and constant interval, let's say. I tried to film twice before today. Let's hope this one is the day, but the first time my camera decided not to acknowledge the existence of the cable that I've always used to connect it to the computer. Don't know why, but it wasn't working. I ended up uploading a highlights on my Instagram about an updated post-laser skincare routine. If you want to see a video with better quality on that subject and a bit more nuance, let me know. I'll upload it for sure. And then I sat down again. The cable tantrum was, it was as if it had never existed. The cable was working fine, but halfway through it, I realized my camera was not recording. I lost most of the footage. It was very dark and dreary already. It was the end of the day. I have had a full face of makeup that I had to redo, so I gave up. So let's hope today is the day. Without further ado, let's jump into what the video is about, which is kind of how I've been changing seasons with a bit of skincare and my makeup routine, because it was summer until mid October here in Lisbon, which was not fun. Regarding skincare and makeup, I had to resort always to the same couple of things because those are the ones that work the best on my very oily skin when everything is sliding off. So I got into basically a rut, and I was also always rushing out the door. I didn't sit down to kind of do a few more elaborate eye makeup looks, nothing like that. I just went on about it really quickly and I was out the door. So when the weather finally changed, I was really happy to go back and be able to try some new things and some different things that I've been saving for this cooler weather that allows my skin to endure a bit different textures and all that stuff. So the first thing was changing up my sunscreen, not completely. Whenever the UV rating is high, I always go back to La Roche-Posay, the UV Immune 400 Invisible Fluid. This supposedly has some of the best filters out there for UVA rays, which I'm really concerned about because of my melasma. I have to keep that always as a priority, but this works really well under any kind of makeup and for any season. But I wanted to change it up a bit, you know, and now I can go for something a bit more emollient, a bit more dewy, a bit more glowy, as you can see on my bare skin right now. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know one of my favorite discoveries from, I think last year, was the SPF 50, the everyday one from Hello Sunday, which is quite glowy, very lightweight, but still in the summertime I wouldn't be able to fiddle with that. But this year I found this one out. This is the Seldom Azelak RU Luminous Fluid Lotion. It has an SPF of 50 and it is an all-in-one in terms of skincare because it has azelaic acid, which is great to, you know, manage my melasma as much as skincare can. It is a fluid that is quite moisturizing, so I don't have to use any kind of moisturizer. I just wash my face, apply this, and I have everything in one with my SPF on my face, which is delightful when you're in a rush. And as a foundation primer, a makeup primer, this brings on, a bit like the Hello Sunday, this brings on the dew. People with very oily skin, people who don't like luminous finishes, they will not like this, but I absolutely adore it once in a while, depending on how I like my makeup, because I'm not the same every single day. People with dry skin, I think, will absolutely drink this up, I think, but you let me know if you've tried it. It is working as a makeup primer because my sunscreen is always my main makeup primer. It sets the tone for everything else. I like formulas that are manageable, that I can change the finish of a little bit, but you know, you use what you want to set the tone for the rest of the makeup. As a makeup primer, this, I could only compare it to the Natasha Denona, you know, the Pipette Primer Hygen, is it? Primer. I've had it on my wish list for a long time, but ever since I tried this late spring, so I couldn't use it for long, I was kind of like, I don't think I need the Hygen primer. It has this luminous glow without the pearlized effect, and I always let my sunscreen set. So I do my skincare routine, I apply my sunscreen, and then I let them set for at least 10 minutes while I get dressed, have breakfast, do my chores throughout the house before having to leave. And my makeup is my last step before I leave the house. And so I let it set until it forms the film that it's supposed to form. And this is what I'm left with, a very dewy finish. Not for everybody, I know. If I'm not wearing any makeup on that day, I'll just powder this area here and let the rest of the dew do its job. Now, when it comes to foundations, as I said, I was kind of always using the same 2-3 foundations throughout the whole summer, so I was really eager to try the 2 foundations that have been really hyped about and that I had on my wish list. So when the season changed, I ran and got the 2 foundations. One is the Fenty Beauty, this is the stick foundation, the Eavesdrop whatever stick foundation, and the other one is the Nessa Myricks, the Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. So many repetitions, the Yummy Skin Tint. Today I'm gonna go with this. If you don't know, I love stick foundations. I had a lot of them. And yeah, I'm really, you do have foundation up to here, so you have half of it out, and the other half, I think, is inside. You'll have to scoop it out. It has to be like that to keep it stable, but yeah. I was really eager to try this out, and I find this to be a really interesting foundation. First, I love stick foundations, but they usually are a bit more either drying or too emollient, so it's a bit of a, you have to really find the one that works for you. I really love the Eavesdrop Skin Tint, the liquid foundation from Fenty. So I was really curious about this one because this is supposed to be more of a less matte finish, but I don't find the Eavesdrops to be that matte. So I was really curious about this one, how it would work on my skin. And this is a very lightweight foundation. It is, when you apply to the skin, it has a beautiful glide. It looks amazing, really easy to buff out. You can build it up. I build it up to a point because after that it starts to look a bit too textured on my skin. So I can build it up with a couple of layers, and then if I have any other things that I want to conceal, I'll go in with concealer. So it's really nice. It has nice longevity, not as much as the tint, which makes sense because that one can create, again, a film on your skin, which this doesn't as much. It has a bit more luminosity to it. It looks really natural on the skin, and it doesn't have high coverage. You can build it to a low medium, I'd say, a very low medium. So I've been using this a lot. It's really easy to apply. I don't know what's up with the stick foundation, just because you can slap it on. It feels like it's quicker and more practical in a way. I don't know. And it has a slight blurring of the pores effect, but it's nothing that I would just buy this foundation just because of that. Not in that sense. I like to apply it both with a brush or a sponge. I think both give a really nice finish, and it blends so easily with either. I like to apply one coat or one layer and then blend it out and see where I need a bit more coverage, and even go in with kind of a concealer brush and apply a bit more where I feel I need it. But because this has a very low medium coverage, I will always go back in with a concealer on the spots that really need extra attention. As you can see around my mouth and on these 2 post-inflammatory marks here, it's still noticeable as kind of a, let me bring you in. Maybe it's easier. Yeah. You can see these are still visible, and I have to go in with a bit of concealer on top of it, but overall it looks really nice. In case you're wondering, the shade that I have is 9, and on the drops I have 10, and I know that my winter shade is 6 if I'm not mistaken. So I always struggle a bit with shade matching with Fenty, I don't know why. But yeah, and this looks a bit peachy when applying it directly onto the skin, but then blurred out, you can see it really blends onto my skin really well. I will probably need a slightly lighter color later down the line, but you know, I don't think I need it right now. It's still working really well. So that's it. That's my makeup done. You can see this mark here is still showing through a bit, and the texture of my skin is looking really nice even. The other product that I've gone back to is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This one, I have it in G8, and I really like how emollient this is. I shouldn't, again, because I have oily skin, but as a thin layer, just as a one swipe product, it looks so good. It's kind of almost just erasing the darkness instead of adding color. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how it feels, and it's super hydrating underneath the eyes. Peak winter time when my skin is drier, I can use this all over the face, but today I'm going to go with my usual concealers just to cover a bit more these dark spots right here. Nothing new. Still using my Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer. This is a very stupid, nonsensical packaging. It always has product coming off. I think the stopper is too thick. I try to clean it up, but not every day, I must confess. Now, as you can see, my sunscreen is still shining through my foundation, but because the foundation isn't very dewy, it's just a natural matte, satin matte finish, I'd say, it kind of toned down the sunscreen effect. And now I'm going to go with the powder that I've been using it the most, which is the Huda Beauty powder, and just set the areas that I know will shine through throughout the day and just need a bit of help, I'd say, a bit of help. So I use a more precise brush on the areas where I want most of the product compacted in a way, concentrated, and then I pick up a fluffier brush and do a very gentle sweep around my jaw area where I want things to set, because I tend to touch my skin too much, and that's where the foundation usually fades. So although the weather has changed, my powder hasn't yet. It will probably become too heavy as winter steps in, but for now it's just fine. And as usually, I don't apply anything on my forehead, so just a bit of powder. And here we go. Still some natural glow coming through. Now for the fun part, the cheeks. I've been focused so much on the cheeks. I haven't been using bronzer that much. Even in the summertime, I wasn't. But I've been into glowy cheeks. So I like something that is a hybrid between a blusher and a highlighter. Usually as a cream, they will work the best, or mixing, you know, a blusher and a highlighter in any way, be it with powders or creams, and create that very highlighted blush look. I've been loving that look throughout the whole summer. This has been my go-to, and still into autumn. I will rave about this in my yearly favorites for sure. This is the Can Make Cream Cheek Pearl Type. The pearl is very important. And this one is number 4 Apricot Shell. This, my friends, is a beautiful, you can't make it justice just doing this. You can't, but it's very glowy, and it's an apricot-y, not too peachy, light, almost pastel-y color that looks absolutely stunning on the cheeks. And it has this kind of putty, very lightweight, powdery putty texture that has glow to it, but it works almost like a cream to powder. So it's amazing for oilier skin types. I think if you like a glowy blush, these are good ones to look for. Amazon sells them for a kidney. Forget those pricks. But you will always have Yes Style and Stylevana. They take ages to ship, but this is sold for about €8 each. Anyway, more recently, I'm going into more, I don't know, more desaturated colors, I guess, on my face. And these are the things that I've been grabbing. This is the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude Melting Color Balm for cheeks and eyes. And this is number 20. It looks almost bronzery, but it has a peachiness to it. This is not something that I use every time, but I'm going to use it today. And again, it's a very special, almost cream to powder formula that looks really nice on the cheeks, and it just adds some, I'd say, definition without adding an actual bright color, if you know what I mean. As I said, it looks bronzery, but on my skin tone, this just brings a bit of, I don't know, a dark beige, sad beige, a dark beige kind of tone with a bit of warmth or pinkiness to it. It just hits the right spot on what I want. And then the star of the show. This is not new, neither is the Giorgio Armani, but it's the Westman Atelier highlighter in, this is so heavy and so hard to open. I'm always sweating bullets when I have to open it. Mine is in Peau de Pêche, which means peach skin. And this looks weird, grey and chalky when I swatch it, but on the cheeks, I sometimes use just this. This is a bit darker than a normal highlighter. So it works, again, as kind of a highlighting blush. I can use this on its own. This has such a beautiful reflect. I don't know if it will be able to pick up on camera. I hope so, that's the point. But your cheeks just look absolutely glossy. It's incredible. And again, like the Neo Nude, it sets. So it doesn't feel tacky or sticky or anything like that. Again, great for combination skins. And yeah, it doesn't emphasize my texture too much. It just looks glossy and hydrated and moisturized. So playing again on that sunscreen. Now, onto the eyes, and I must say, I still haven't been too much into doing very colorful, bright, or more elaborate eye looks. Throughout the whole summer, I was always grabbing one of these two or these two combined. The Moira cream shadow, Lucent cream shadow in Orion. I've done a dedicated video on Moira eyeshadows. This looks, it's a subtle wet look. It's really beautiful. It's not too dark, so on my skin at least, so it gives me just the right amount of color, or the Moondust eyeshadow in Space Cowboy that everybody has and everybody should have, because this is wet on the skin. Will it show? I don't think so. Not in all its glory. This is far more wet looking than it looks on the footage. So sorry, but if you've seen people swatching this with proper lighting, you will see it has a bit of a peachy base, which is nice. It brightens the lids a bit without looking without looking very bright. I'd say it's just a hint of peach. Just applying a bit of primer. I don't do this every time, just because you're here. This is the Fenty primer. I won't, I think I will not get through it. I think it will expire and go bad and smelly before I can use it up. But there you go. And now I'm going to show you what I've been using nowadays. Again, within that desaturated look, a bit smoky. I like the wet look, but I want something darker. And I have two options. One is from Sephora, and it's this guy right here. It's called Shock Choc. I think that's how it's called. It's one of their mono eyeshadows. And it looks so beautiful. Has a bit of, I don't know, purpliness to it. Not purpliness, rosiness on the undertone. It's really beautiful. It's really impactful. It's very creamy. It's not like the Moon Dusts, which are a bit more drier to the feel, to the touch. And it's really nice in terms of reflection. But the product that I've been using the most, Moon Dust in Lithium. Oh, my friends. This has more of, again, it has that warm chocolatey base. They're very similar when swatched, but in real life, the sheen on this is more impactful. It has specks of silver, but also green. So it gives it more depth, I'd say, whilst this one is more rosy, and the specks are only just a lighter rosy pink reflection with maybe a bit of silver. So it depends on what I'm going for, but this has been the one that I've been grabbing for, and I use it the sloppiest way possible. Let me show you. I just pick it up with my finger. Let me adjust my mirror here so I don't do any boo-boo. And I just press it onto the eye, just like that. Something I really appreciate on these eyeshadows that they don't have much fallout. I tend to be a bit clumsy, so I appreciate that a lot. And then I kind of just smoke out or blend out the edges. If I wanted to come a bit higher, I just take any kind of basic brownish eyeshadow and just starting on the outer edge, blending it in and bringing it a bit higher, mixing it in with Lithium. So any generic brown eyeshadow that matches your skin tone the best, that is not too dark, because I use this in the daytime. I wear this, and there it is. How long was that? Half a minute, if that much. Go a bit heavier on this eye. So now when I'm looking ahead, there's a hint of shadow still peeping through around here. That's what I wanted. I don't want it to be very high, but here it is. And that's it. That's what I do with my eyes. Sometimes I smudge a bit of eyeliner. I'm going to do a video on the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Glide pencils. I just smudge a bit of eyeliner on top of it, just along the lash line. It's hardly noticeable on camera. It just gives a bit of definition along the lashes and a bit on my inner rim. Mascara, Tower 28, nothing changed there. Nothing will probably change in the near future. I love when this mascara is a bit more dry, so given after about a month or so after opening it, that's when it's at its prime. That's hard to say. and it stays like this for quite a long time. It dries out a bit, it's easier to coat each lash and make it thicker without ever getting piecey, flaky. So nice. So nice. It's so pretty. And the eyes are done. I'm just going to brush my brows. I don't do much with my brows. I'm so sorry, my friends. Haven't found anything that really makes me want to spend the time on them. You know what I mean? And then on my lips. On my lips, things have varied a bit. My standout product for the lips has been this. Again, very desaturated. What's wrong with me? This is the Kaleidos Cloud Lab lip paint, the Kaleidos liquid lipsticks that are velvety, and this is in the shade Echo Valley, and this is a weird one. Let me just remove my trusty lip balm, and then I'm gonna go with this one, and this is a very kind of grayish brown, I'd say. I'm diving into the grungy mood. These are really nice because you can adjust the opacity that you want from the product and not have it very heavy right off the bat. So I applied a very light amount of it, and this is how it looks. I'm just going to define my lips a bit more. Again, nothing new. NYX Los Angeles, one of my favorite, all-time favorite lip liners. Nothing too crazy on there, and this is something that I've been using a lot. Other lip products that I've been gravitating towards within this kind of grungy, brownie, desaturated look is the Merit 1990. It's an amazing lip color. It's brownie, but it has a hint of warmth that is not red in it, and it's a satin lipstick. I love the texture of it. The Moira number 2, I can't read. It's almost the same color. It has a bit more pink or rose on it, but it's very close, and it's more glossy, and it's very affordable. Speaking of glosses, Almond by Tau 28. I'm almost out of it, thankfully, because it's borderline starting to smell rancid or crayony, not rancid. This is more yellow, if you can see, compared to the other two, but it still works really nice. In terms of glosses, more on the nudie side, if I want to counteract all this grayness. I either go with Lisa Eldridge, this is Songbird. I'm almost out of it. As you can see, I've been struggling to scrape it off. I removed the stopper. Velvet Affair gloss, also, it's a bit more on the nudie, desaturated kind of brownie side. And then this is Flesh Fantasy Lip Gloss by Pat McGrath. Also been loving this. As lip options, I've been rotating between these. For eyes, I've been using basically one of these two or back to the Moondust Space Cowboy. And on my cheeks, again, the Westman Atelier and the Can Make, completely opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of price, and something very neutral like this Giorgio Armani blush. So yeah, overall, this is a finished look. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'm happy to be back. Hopefully you'll be back too. I wouldn't fault you if you didn't. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As usual, if you don't mind, comment, subscribing, liking, and as always, thank you for spending your time on me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye! Of course, I forgot to say, if you want an up-close and personal on either the Danessa Myricks or the Fenty stick, let me know and I'll do it for you. So now, signing out.